Leading up to the 2016 election, all the polls had Hillary Clinton winning in a major landslide. Why were these polls wrong? And are they going to be wrong in 2018? I think they're going to be, and I think I have the reason why. Let's get into it. So this is actually going to be a really simple answer. And it's been touched on before to a certain point. And really what brought this up to my mind was I was watching the Kanye West and Jimmy Kimmel interview that happened last night. And you saw at certain points where Jimmy Kimmel really tried to hit Kanye on, his support for Trump. Even though Kanye West basically goes over and says, I'm not a politician. I don't know the politics. I don't know the facts. I just like him. I like his energy. But that's enough. And you saw when he first wore that Make America Great Again hat a few months ago that the mob came out after him. And actually to such a point that I believe Kanye West has a secret album that has to do with this and maybe the Trump and the love that he's trying to spread. And the reason why I think that, and I could be wrong, but they played a song that there was a song on his album about Kim Kardashian's response to him coming out. And there was another interview after the album came out where Kim Kardashian said that the album that came out was not the album that she heard a few weeks prior. So to me, that means Kanye changed his entire album. And my guess is it was based off of the mob that came after him. So yes, I think Kanye has a secret, I don't know if it's a Trump album, but I think Kanye has a secret album out there somewhere that he's hiding. I don't know why. I don't know if he'll ever release it. If there is, I would love to hear it. I love Kanye West. Big fan. But kind of getting back into this. It was really a demonstration of how quickly the hatred and a lot of people who come out for Trump, especially if you're in the news or the media or you like anybody even conservative, they will come after you. The Twitter mob and Facebook and the trolls and everything else that's going on out there. I mean, the hatred is strong, and the Trump derangement syndrome is in full-blown attack. If you've seen this Vox video about how MS-13 is just a bunch of nice high school kids who are valedictorians and have after-school jobs, and they're really nice kids, and this whole MS-13 of killing and everything, that's really not the case, and it's all fabricated because of Trump. So, I mean, that's Trump derangement syndrome, but this Twitter mob. So, when the Trump was running for president, you heard a lot about the silent majority, and this was something that was kind of thrown about, and I want to say when Nixon was running for president, I could be wrong, I think it was somewhere back in the 70s, but what this kind of referred to as people who didn't necessarily care about politics or weren't really vocal about politics, and they're what we consider the backbone of the country. They're the people who go to work every day, they do their jobs, and they may not necessarily be religious voters, but occasionally somebody will come along that kind of touches them or inspires them or drives up a passion, or they just like where they're going, and they'll come out and vote, and you see landslides. I believe that's what helped Reagan, and I believe that's what helped Trump last time. Because if you saw the polls leading up to the 2016 election, you had Hispanic support in the teens. Well, what actually happened was he got 30% of the Hispanic or Latino vote. And now you see where Trump has gone from in the neighborhood of 13% support around his election in the black community, and I've seen polls leading anywhere from 25% up to 30% approval in the black community now. And if that's true, Trump will win in a landslide in 2020. I don't think that will have coattails in 2018. But 2020, if that holds true, landslide. But I believe this silent majority, they're not going to be the people who are coming out and vocally supporting Trump. They went out, they voted, they're going about their business. And as long as things are running well, I believe he'll continue to have their support. That is the silent majority that was kind of being talked about. So I kind of believe, even when pollsters call, and especially I know on the conservative side, we don't really believe the news and the media, and we're not really willing to even go along with their polls anymore. But you get the silent majority, and you get a lot of people who come out, and if they say they're a Trump supporter, they see what happens to other people. They see what happened to Kanye West. They see what happens to people on Twitter and Facebook and being harassed. You got Candace Owens who comes out and says, you know, I believe that the black community is really being kind of herded into this kind of Democratic support, that if they ever step out of this Democrat support, that they're attacked by everybody. And you really see the fact in this. And if you don't believe me, go look on Twitter for people who support Trump or black Republicans throughout time. You'll hear Uncle Tom's and just all kinds of name calling. And I know Candace Owen and Charlie Kirk were at I believe, an event, and a bunch of white liberals were throwing things at them and, you know, kind of assaulting them and calling them racist, all because of their beliefs. So I think this really has an impact on your polling numbers and the people who say they are supporting Trump. So I know this kind of goes back to the red wave, blue wave, and also into the 2020 elections, because I believe Trump is always going to be an unpopular president. And even someone like me who likes a majority of his policies, not all of them, but a majority of them, sometimes he just says things on Twitter that I feel like I can't really defend. And anytime you get into a conversation with somebody about President Trump, it's never about his policies or what he's doing. It's always about what he says, or how he's such a despicable person that how can you support somebody like that? And it really kind of comes down to, I believe people are overwilling to overlook those flaws. We know who Trump is. Trump is not, you know, anybody that you really, I mean, other than the fact that he's hugely successful and seems to, you know, I know he's had businesses that go out of business, but, you know, he really succeeds in a lot of things that he tries. So in that way, you know, he's a good role model. But as a person, I would not tell my kids to look up to Donald Trump as a person or as a role model. And in that case, I think President Barack Obama was actually, you know, kind of I don't want to say a better human being, but, you know, kind of a better human being than Trump. But, you know, I get the anger and how some people feel like he's not for them based off of what he says. And he tends to step on his message a lot in his Twitter use and some of the things that he says. But his policies have really been working out well, and I like the way that they're going. So this was just kind of a quick video on kind of what I believe and why I think some of the polling number for Trump is not actually accurate. But unfortunately, polls are the only thing that we have to go on, and you'll see me bring them up a lot, even though I don't have a lot of faith in the polls, is what we have to work on. So I hope everybody has a great weekend, and I will see you back next week.